Silver Bean Dolls here. We are going to show you how to string one of our ball jointed ponies. These are one of my the smaller size ponies, which I think are adorable. So I've already sorted and done a little bit of the cleaning out. Sometimes they don't clean. I use a company called Shapeways to do my printing for me. I am getting my own printer come November, hopefully. So that should be a crazy, what am I doing now that I have my own printer time. But for now, and for this type of material, I am using Shapeways. That's why it usually takes 4 to 6 weeks for items to arrive. Okay, so this one was actually pretty dirty, or not dirty, just a lot of extra printing powder didn't get cleaned out as much as should have. You can see how I've got just like pile over here. But if you do get a doll kit or anything off, you can buy my dolls directly from Shapeways. I still get a markup, and it's a little cheaper for you to buy them there. I think they're $5 cheaper. I didn't have a lot of wiggle room with these little ones. So $5 cheaper online if you want to do the work yourself. And you get them a lot faster. Because I tend to do my orders in batches as well, and so that actually adds time as too. But the tools I'm using is I have some strong wire that I did a little hook at the end, very small. You want to make sure it's small enough to get through all the little tiny holes. So 2 to 3 millimeters wide, 2 would be better. And the hook can be 3 to 4 millimeters long. And then, any length for the wire is fine, as long as it's longer than the parts together. And enough for you to grab and hold on to. And then my cord that I use is clear beading cord. This I just get at Walmart. You can get it at craft stores or wherever. You can try different types of cord. You just want it thin. This is 0.7 millimeters. You also want to make sure your cord has a good tension. That means when you pull and stretch it, it kind of jumps back into place. It doesn't stretch and then get looser and stretched out. It holds that elasticity. You want a good, strong elasticity. You want a good strength. You don't want it to easily, snap, because you do have that kept tension to keep the parts in place so that you can pose and keep the string and cord tight. I like the clear just because it's less noticeable that way, especially since I don't use little hooks and do the knots on the inside. They're usually on the outside. But you will need 2 to 3 pieces, depending on the type. If you have something with wings, you'll need 3. If you just have an earth pony or a unicorn, then you'll just need 2. We use 1 for the front legs. It just goes over the top of the head and down. And then 1 for the back legs, through the torso and down. And then 1 to go from either side of the wings to the torso. Alright, first other tools you might need is either a dremel or a sharp knife if the holes are just a little too tight because of the way that thing's printed and shrunk, and powder is just kind of stuck and clinging to. You'll sometimes need to use a knife to clean out the holes a little bit. Of course, scissors are always good. You can also have a spot of super glue if you want to put them at your knots, just to make sure they're extra strong and aren't going to come loose. I don't really use it anymore. It's just an extra step that I find I don't generally need. But if you want it, feel free to do it. Organizing your parts. For this tutorial, looking at the pony, the left, this is my left. This side is my right. So looking straight at the pony, left, right. The left side, the hooves, I doubt you can see it in this video, but the hooves on the left side, they have a little dot or sphere right here to show that it's the left side. Same thing with the back hooves. Technically the legs should have them too, but these are so small, there's not enough light to see inside to see the spheres or dots. The legs do lean inwards, like an upside down V or a tent. So they lean inwards. The front legs have a little less leaning, they're a little harder, so you might kind of want to point them a little out to kind of help see if they are leaning inwards. And of course, the lower parts will fit onto the hooves perfectly, whereas if you put it on the opposite side, it wouldn't fit quite as well. The upper legs are pretty obvious. They will fit the hole, especially the front. You can see just how well this fits. If I grab the other part and try to fit it, it just won't fit. You can see that there's a gap there. You'd have to fit it like that. So it doesn't really fit. Back legs, on the upper back legs, still some powder left. The curved part, you can see if this slight curve here goes in the back. The more flat side goes in the front. So you can use that to help distinguish the front and back. If you do have particles or powder left in your parts, I generally just take my bit of wire and scrape along the walls, and then make sure to kind of stab a little and dig it out, any of the crevices, and then you can just give a little shake right above your workspace, make sure it's clean, and you can give it a little tap to help get it out. You can also use like compressed air, like to clean your keyboards and electronics. But if you do find that there's a lot of material, more than just say like a pinch, I would definitely make sure to use like a mask like you would in your workshop, just like your regular cold kind of mask, or general mask over your face, or a bandana or something, just to make sure that you don't get any of that plastic particles in your lungs, because those will never go away. It'll just sit there and stay in your lungs forever, and if you do enough of it, it will cause problems in the future. So generally I wear a mask if there's any signs of plastic powder. Same thing if you're doing blush and whatever. You just need to make sure that it's just a dust particle mask. If you're spraying and doing face-ups with oils and more wet, then you'll need a special kind of ventilation mask with a special filter. Alright, so now we are going to get our cord and get the right amount. Basically measure from the base of the head to the hooves times 4, and that'll be plenty. As your string is doubled over. Feel free to use a little extra. Me, I try to cut it a little close to save on supplies, but you won't obviously have that problem. Probably. Alright. Starting on the left, you can start on whatever side you want. Just make sure you keep your left and your right parts separate. And then we just make sure we string the parts in order. String it through the hole in the leg, and then make sure the top of your cords are the same length. Grab the front lower leg part, grab the top part, so this is the entire front leg on the left side. And we'll grab your torso, up through the torso, up through the neck hole. Make sure that your leg is properly in the groove, so you can make sure you can keep your cord tight and pulled. Now this is probably the trickiest part. Your head, you can see it has a loop built in. So make sure you go through the left side of the loop, kind of like a belt loop. And just shove as much cord as you can to help with this next part into the left side. And then put your thumb there to kind of hold it in place onto the cord. And then take your hook, put it on the right side, and then just kind of see if you can find the cord. There's one. Grab it and pull it out. Sometimes this takes a while because trying to find the cord isn't always easy. And then pull. Again, make sure it's properly in place, just to make sure you pull as much strength that will make you have a good, strong cord. We don't want a wobbly, loose doll. It won't pose, it won't stand if it's too much slack. Again, with my cord, just because it's easier, you can go ahead and use it to hook onto your cord. And then pull through. If your hook is too big, it won't fit through all the holes, so you may need to resize your hook. Some of the holes you can make a little bigger with your Dremel if you need to. Just make sure you don't make it too big because you don't want your parts falling through and to have enough strength. And then we grab the upper right leg part. Now going down is a little more tricky to get the cord through than on this part, on the upper leg part, than it is because of the cup part for the elbow joint, I guess you call it. And again, I'm just using my hook to make it a little easier on me. Make sure your hook holds onto that cord and they don't fall out. Again, make sure you pull it taut. You can pull the head up a little to make sure that the left cord and then pull down with the right side to make sure that the left leg is still taut. And then screw the lower right leg part. The front right hoof. It's a little tight, so I'm going to use my knife to scrape extra loose dust. Just, you want to make sure you do this before, because trying to hold your pony and not cut yourself at the same time is always a good thing. But sometimes you miss it. It doesn't matter which direction you go through the hole in the hooves. Okay, make sure your string is taut on both sides all the way through the pony, so you don't have a wobbly pony. And then you can pull up on the head and pull through. Okay, get the hoof pretty much most of the way down onto the segment part. And then we're going to do a secure knot. Make sure you use the same. And honestly, to make sure to keep the tension, I just go ahead and use my teeth to pull. Hold on to one side and pull with the other. And then use the same cord to go through the loop. To make sure it's not you don't want a slip knot, obviously. You want to make sure it's nice and secure. And you can do a third knot if you want, that's fine. Cut pretty close to the knot. You can leave a little extra cinch, but you want to make sure that there's not too much or it gets in the way of the joint. So we have the front. Let's do the back. You'll need a little less than the front because you're not going up through the head, you're just going through the torso. And you want 4 times the amount. Yeah, we're going to use the left side, go through left hoof. Match up your cords lengths. The back lower leg, left side. Again, if any time you're feeling like the cords just don't want to find the hole, you can use your hook. The upper back left. Through the hole. Make sure the parts are fitting together appropriately. as flat and as snug as possible to make sure you hold that extra tension through the torso, just straight across. Full of cords. Make sure, pull it, make sure there's good tension in the leg. You can see how I kind of pinch it, hold that tension in place, and then I can use my other fingers to pull it. Again, pinch to keep the tension. Back legs are much easier than the front. I usually don't need to use the hook. Pull, fit the part in place, and then we are grabbing our hoof. And again, it doesn't matter which direction you choose. This one's a little dirty though, so we're going to clean it out. You can also use a stiff brush to help clean out loose particles. Sometimes it's a little bit of a tight squeeze. Go, because I dropped my pinch to get it through. Make sure you regain that tension. Make sure it's strong on the tension of those legs. Okay, and again, we are just knotting. Again, I'm using my teeth, but the extra will be cut off, so no worries on that. Oh, there's Snapple. And the thing I always fear when I was knotting it snapped. Sometimes the way that they do this cord, sometimes there's little flaws. When I pull it, if I happen to hit flaw in the cord, if I'm lucky, there'll be enough cord that I don't have to redo the whole thing. Elastic cord probably wouldn't have this kind of trouble as much, but this type of plastic certainly does. Alright. Got just enough to redo without having to, generally it's lost cause and I'll have to cut a new piece and redo it. So it's one of the fun little snafus that happen sometimes when doing your dolls, guys. Alright. Let's try this again. go. When you knot it, make sure that the knot goes all the way towards the base of the hoof. Cut off any extra close to the knot. And that would be where you could do a small dot of super glue. Just be careful that the super glue does not glue the cord to the doll. You might want to sit there and fold it out if you super glue it. As you can see, it's got the proper tension. You want it to just be able to stretch just a little. Like, that's fine. If it does much more than that, a bit of gap, like 2 to 3 millimeters, maybe 4, then it's probably not strong enough tension. It's too loose. If you have a pony with wings, you're just going to grab you don't need much cord, but you want enough that you can easily knot it, so about that long is generally fine. And then string through one. Make sure you got your left and right. Going up, you want the feathers to be forward and the wings to go up, so that'll tell you which one's left and which one's right. String through. Again, you might need to use your hook. String through, and then tie a knot. Make sure you tie the knot on the front side rather than the back side, because there's a little bit more room for the knot to hide in the front, because it can hide a little bit in the groove. So make sure you knot it in the front. But that's basically it, guys. So if your doll ever comes undone, you can do it yourself, or you can go ahead and buy the kits. It's the same thing with the bigger dolls, and with my littling dolls, it's pretty much the same premise. I just do one cord for one leg all the way up to the head, a second cord for the other leg all the way up through the torso up to the head, and then one cord through the arms, and then knot at one of the hands. And of course use a jump ring to knot at the head, or a small ring, a small strong ring. But I hope that will help you guys out, and continue to purchase and support my work so that I can continue doing what I do. And I will continue to make new products. And thank you guys so much for all your support that you already give me, and love and attention, and all those good things that every artist needs. If I can ever be of any assistance, or if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm not currently taking commissions right now, because I need to focus on my business and what I'm doing in my own work. I want to become a better at anatomy and sculpting, so that's what I'm going to be focusing on in 2015. And of course, with my new machine coming in, I'm going to have to probably rework a lot of my models and designs, because it will be a new, different material, and of course a different machine. And so that'll be a lot of an education process. But make sure to check for, I will post some links for my Etsy shop and my DeviantArt and my Facebook. So make sure to click those down below, and feel free to subscribe and favorite any videos. Download and use them yourself. If you reblog them, make sure to just or repost any of my videos or work or pictures. Make sure to just give me a credit and link back. If you do buy any of my ponies to customize and resell, that is allowed. I just ask that you make sure to do a little sign. If it's online, make sure to put any links directly back to me. And of course, for any sold pony, make sure to hand out one of my business cards, which I can supply free for you with any purchase directly from me. Or if you buy off of Shapeways, I can give you the JPEG picture so you can print them out and hand them out yourself. So just pretty much just give credit where credit is due. Generally, that's all there is to need to know. Thanks again, guys. Hope this helps, and continue all your support and help. And I will try and do likewise.